And we're live. Welcome to Whiskey, Watches, and Wheels, the #1 podcast in the Czech Republic. And with my gang of merry misfits over here, we're going to give you guys a quality podcast tonight. Tonight is our Christmas episode. That's why I'm wearing red and the other motherfuckers aren't wearing nothing. It's all good. Actually, no, Kevin's wearing plaid. Mr. Chulo over there's wearing plaid. Guys, how we doing tonight?
Doing very well.
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
Well, we'll start off by saying I'm Matt.
I'm Casey.
I'm James.
And I'm Chewy. No, I'm Kevin.
We're getting better at that. We promise. So at some point in time, we'll be having no gaps at all. Guys, we're getting ready for the holidays. Everything is good to go. Everyone's doing tonight. Everyone doing good?
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do our wristwatch check because we have some amazing news with the wristwatches. Casey, why don't you get us started there, buddy?
It's very classy tonight. Look at this.
That is beautiful. Here, I got a better picture of that. And there's a story behind that watch, is there not?
There is, but let's start off. It's the SB401. Is that correct? I think so.
SSB.
SSB. Okay. And what else do you want to know about it? It's a quartz. It's freaking awesome. It's obviously a chrono. And I'll let James go next.
All right. So I'm wearing something similar, and that is the Seiko SSB 403, which same as far as it's the Neo Sports Watch, 41 millimeters, 22 millimeter lug opening. So you can switch out the band fairly easily. It's got a 100 millimeter water resistance, 16 millimeters thick, which is nice and thin. And I'm assuming that's based on the it being a quartz movement, but wears very comfortably, and it looks sharp. And the orange stripe on the band gets some really good feedback so far. So very special.
Very nice. And I myself have another similar option there. We're going to show mine. Mine is the SSB 409. And it is very similar to the guys, black and blue face, silver accents, orange accents, NATO band, very comfortable to wear. Lots of comments already. And gentlemen, who got us this? Actually, Kevin, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a Casio Vintage Series, silver blue retro classic watch, AQ-800
Well, that's
too many
EC
dashes.
Yeah,
2A.
right off
Let's
the
see if
top
I
of your
can-
head there.
I love that.
Oh, nice face.
Yeah.
Was that
Teal
blue?
dial.
Some
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like a teal. It's pretty cool, retro. It's got an adjustable kind of band, so you don't have to take.
Yeah. What's
it. So it's pretty
interesting
neat.
is
I liked
it looks
Bought it.
like one of those calculator watches, right? And as far as shape goes, but then it has this kind of classic watch face.
I did it so I could actually. That has like,
You can actually
like,
tell the
two
time now.
times things right here. Yes. So that's what those numbers are for. I did it so I can actually, because I do auctions, and one of them is in Australia. So, and I always have to, it's like Eastern Australian time. So I always have to like calculate it in my head or put it on my alarm. So now I can just look and go, okay, that's when the auction's ending. So now I have 2 times. I mean, I'm sure I could have done it with
That's
my
boring.
iPhone
Well,
or something, but
We all have these similar watches because it is the
Giving
Christmas
season.
time.
That's right.
It's the given season, and Kevin was nice enough to ship these out to us and surprise us with these watches. So thank you, Kevin. That was above and beyond. And
Gracias.
you're welcome. Thanks,
very
guys.
unexpected for sure.
So I was fortunate enough to know first. I ran into Kevin at Porsches on Central, which is a great event. I'll give them a shout out, guys. Down
Where's
in
that?
the Porsches on Central, down in St. Petersburg. It's a great, almost cars and coffee-ish type Porsche event. Go hang out. Really good people. Really cool cars. So Kevin and I were down there together. So he handed me mine in person and said, "Shh, don't tell the guys." So until you guys got yours. Casey, you said you were going to start calling your watch the what?
I don't know. What did I say?
You said you were going to call it the Kevin. Every Seiko has a name, and you were going to call it the Kevin.
That's right. It's nickname. Yeah. I got the time sonar. We've got, I guess that's the only one that I have with nickname, but now it's called the Kevin.
So I have a great story with mine. So and Kevin knows the story. So when you're at a car event, there's so much going on. There's everyone, you're seeing people you haven't seen in a little while. A lot of these guys I haven't seen since fair, and so Kevin hands it to me, and I was so appreciative and grateful, and I opened it up real quick, and I was just kind of taken back because I wasn't expecting a gift. So put it in the 911 and went about the day, watching everybody and talking and everything. So when I got home, 3-hour drive, I really had a chance to open it up and really look at it and appreciate what it was. And so I'm looking at this thing. And so like we all do, we're watchdorks. We want to see what the model number is and everything, So I get the box out and I'm looking at the manual and then the label on the side catches my eye. And I said, oh, wow, Kevin doesn't even realize this is on here. So I'm going to show you guys a picture of the label. Don't worry, Kevin, I took off the thing that we talked about. When I got it, I was like, this can't be right. So I called Kevin. All right, I texted Kevin. I said, look at this. So someone obviously had maybe ordered this watch first or before Kevin got it or whatever. And the person's name was VJ Dookie. So I told Kevin that this watch forever will now be dubbed the Seiko Dookie. So Kevin gifted us 3 Seiko Dookies.
Awesome.
That is the new name of this. You can call it the Kevin if you'd like, but for me, it's always going to be called the Seiko Dookie.
I love it.
I'm going with Kevin Dookie.
Kevin Dookie. So that's the title of the podcast. Kevin gives us a bunch of Dookies.
Perfect.
Lucky, I guess I can tell Savannah.
Nice.
Thanks for wrapping it.
Oh yeah,
looking, taking the.
Listen, I'm glad she did
off.
it because it made it for a great story.
Casey, when did you get yours?
All right.
Let's see. I wore it. When did I wear it? On Friday. I wore it Friday out, so I got it. Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday
may have been Wednesday
or Wednesday.
Yeah,
And
because
then
you
wore
said
it
don't
Thursday.
say anything.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to get mine in person, which was nice. So I went down to St. Augustine to meet up with Kevin and his family. And we had a nice long weekend. Weather wasn't great, but that didn't really matter at all. So just solid time spent hanging out. And
Hey,
Well,
guys,
it's nice.
One of the best Christmas
the next time
movies,
one of you fuckers come down to St. Augustine to hang out with Kevin, let me fucking know. I'll drive over for lunch. I'm literally 2 hours from St. Augustine.
I think we actually told somebody.
Okay.
Your other significant other.
The message did not get to me, so I'll have a conversation with that person then.
Likely story.
So
Yeah,
I'm like I'm 2 hours from St. Augustine. I'm fucking drive over for lunch. So
Yeah. No, but
It's all
for sure
good.
we'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Especially if all of us come around.
we got to get
was that?
Casey down here for
But what,
Amelia.
Ooh, sign me up. I've been wanting to go to that for years, and this past year we were going to come down, and what happened? I can't remember what happened.
yeah, you had it all planned. I think you got called away for business.
Yeah,
Something
Yeah.
fell at the last minute.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that sucked.
Because we were
whatever
all
it was.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were supposed to
Yeah,
come.
we were all
that's
there.
right.
Exactly. So what's everyone drinking tonight?
Drinking?
Tonight, I have one of my favorite bourbons, although I can't find it much up here in Virginia very much. Ooh, as I hit that. Knob Creek 12. Fantastic bourbon. It's awesome. Big fan. Knob Creek 9, I'm a huge fan of. Of course, they have the 15 and 18 year as well. I've had the 15. It's also exceptional. 18 for me, not as good. It kind of drops off. I think it's a little too old, too oaked. But the 12 and 15 are awesome.
Any tasting notes or anything like that?
All the stuff that you love. To me, it's very vanilla caramel for me. It's just,
Nice.
it's awesome. It's really, really just well done, perfectly aged for me.
Awesome.
James, what you got, buddy?
Yeah. So last evening was my office Christmas party, and we had a little Secret Santa type of thing, Dirty Santa, whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
And I was lucky enough to snag Evan Williams 1783 small batch. So very happy with that. Somehow it didn't get stolen. I had the right number combination where
Ooh, nice.
I had the last number. So there was only one chance of it getting stolen, and that was the person that brought it. So he stole it from me last year. I wasn't going to have it again this year. So let's see. It's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, aged 68 years. And what's interesting is it's barreled in the barrels are also 6 to 8 years. So a little bit different there. I thought that was kind of interesting. But the 1783 part is when Evan Williams founded their first distillery.
Nice.
So that's where that number comes from.
Well, that's cool. I learned something new.
Yeah. Really interesting. I think the nose is sweet, a little bit of light smoke, caramel, cinnamon. Finishes in a similar way, but has a little bit of kick on the end. So it's good. Not bad. And it is not going to run you much in the $20 range.
Surprisingly cheap.
Yes,
Surprisingly
absolutely.
cheap. Especially for the how much you're enjoying it. I love, as you know, the Evan Williams Bottle and Bond is a go-to, but as much as you're
B&B, baby.
Yeah. This is, I don't know if I have this one in the closet, but it's certainly one I'll try to find and pick up.
Yeah, do it.
Cool. Well, for me, guys, I know I'm always the Diet Coke drinker, but tonight I'm actually drinking Firefly sweet tea vodka mixed with a little Diet Lemonade. I'm still trying to watch my carbs, so I got my little JKG tumbler that So so it's actually pretty good. I mean, I'm going to try to drink a little more.
What's that called? The Arnold Palmer? Is that what it is?
It is an Arnold Palmer, yeah.
Yeah,
So
nice.
It's delicious.
it is good. It's a good sip and drink. Actually, it's a good chug and drink if you really want to get to it, but I'm not going to do that tonight. So
It's the holiday.
listen,
Oh,
man,
this
I
podcast
get
is
liquored
gonna
up
be
and
crazy.
get
Matt's
naked
drinking.
on YouTube.
Oh, please don't.
Oh,
No, I
gosh.
So today I am drinking for the holidays Fireball
what do you call
and
that?
Classy.
rum shada. This is
Shit.
so it's a oatmeal
Okay.
cookie shot. Yeah, it was in the back of the bar. This retails for about $14 at your
Mhm.
local, as you guys call it, ABC. It is expired, but hey, then I grabbed this from my daughter's stash. So you mix it together. When I bartend, that was an oatmeal cookie. It reminds me of, it has cinnamon notes in it with some leche notes. It reminds me of this drink
That's
my
awesome.
mom used to make when I was a kid. Not alcohol, but it was arroz con leche, which is kind of like rice with milk, and you put a little cinnamon stick in it. You always eat it in the holidays and
Cool.
stuff like
I
that.
think
for
we call
Christmas
that
time. So,
eggnog.
Yeah, similar.
Well,
I've never had
45
eggnog,
minutes,
so I
he's
don't know
going to
what
call it
eggnog tastes
explosive diarrhea.
like. No, I think
That's what we're
eggnog
gonna
tastes. Oh, it's not
Did you
curl
ever?
yet,
You
so-
said it was. You had a rice drink with cinnamon. Did you ever make the rice with milk as almost like a porridge, like a morning porridge type?
So we would eat it like
Yeah.
in the breakfast time. Like you would cook it and then like you put it in the freezer. And if you go to a lot of Mexican like convenience stores, they usually always have like arroz con leche, always. And they put it in a styrofoam cup, and Savannah gets it and they put a little
I'll have to
cinnamon
try.
stick, and it's pretty good. So,
Cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Mm.
I mean, it's really sweet. I could probably drink this whole thing. Yeah, I'll probably, like you said, have the shits or something. But
Well,
Wow.
we got a couple things we want to talk about tonight, just kind of shooting the shit and everything, But before we do,
Sure.
since we're still kind of on the watch and drink thing, I do want to give Kevin a shout out because Kevin did something that I thought was really, really fucking cool. And so Kevin did this to his drawer. And not only was he man enough to do it to his, he stole one of his wife's drawers. Yeah,
take that away
exactly.
real quick. Get rid of it.
So no, I just thought it was really cool, man. It's a great idea, for someone who doesn't want to, I have a full
Matt.
watch box. What?
Matt, explain what you just showed us for the people that aren't watching.
Oh
on
yeah, I
YouTube.
forgot. And everyone's watching. So Kevin took a dresser drawer and filled it with. Actually, Kevin should be explaining it. Filled it with foam inserts. Yeah, you
Yeah, it's my underwear. It's my underwear.
Your underwear
Actually, it
drawer.
was
You explained Kevin,
underwear
what you
drawer.
did.
So I have 8 drawers. As a family. Oh, my wife's gonna love this. The family.
8 drawers of underwear.
I have one drawer,
Solid.
which is I have one drawer out of 8. Shut up. one drawer, and and then we share a sock drawer, and then the rest is her shit. So I said, you know what? I was having all these watch boxes and stuff, and I was getting, I had to put them on top of each other and take them out. So I saw this in James's place back in June. It was just a quick, not his underwear drawer, but his watch little thing that he had. And I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. And I've been wanting to do it. But one day I just said, oh, you know what? The hell with this. She had like a whole drawer full of bathing suits. And I'm like, I put them on the bedroom in the bed and it's like, get rid of these or do whatever. But I'm taking my drawer back. So I took some foam off of Amazon and then the little watch things, got them, cut it with a little knife with squares, and made I think it holds like 20.
So you bought the pillows, right? The watch pillows. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the pillows and the velvet line ones. They have leather ones too, but they're a little bit too much and I had to buy like a lot of them. And then little foam squares. And it sucks because I actually put them in and they vacuum seal them. And when I put them in, I put two because they were like pretty thin. Well, when I put them in the drawer, they rose and I thought it was going to break the drawer because it came up to like 6 inches.
Like security,
and
that's your lock.
Like, pull them out. Yeah, so I was like, oh, so I did cut them, and yeah, so I still have some more, and my wife actually was nice enough to clear out another drawer from the other side of the drawer, and she said,
yeah,
so that was pretty cool. So she did open up the extra drawer, so I'll probably fill it because I think I have like 4 or 5 watches that are in that little thing, and I gave Casey one of my boxes for him because he's been on a rampage, so. Hopefully you fill it up pretty soon. It seems like you're going pretty strong.
It's
lots
solid.
of acquisitions.
And so does Casey's growing watch collection. It looks good too.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, guys, a couple things we want to go over tonight. I know we've been talking about it amongst ourselves in our little group thing, but for the audience. So they came out with the most popular car colors in the U.S. for 2023. And for a extroverted guy who likes a lot of color, it's quite depressing. But I figured we could go over it nonetheless and get some input and everything and see what everyone thinks about it. I think our mindsets are probably pretty similar, but just to go over for the audience. So the number one color in 2023, 26% was white.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, how boring is that? I mean,
it is kind of boring, but I'm not gonna lie. I have two of the 3 cars are white.
I know.
Now,
you like white.
Not being a new car buyer, I think my selection or my choice is limited because I rather buy the car and the options rather than the color, and so it just worked out this way. But I agree, white's fucking boring. I do think both my cars look really, really nice in white, but it's boring.
Yeah, I think that white is skewed based on fleet vehicles.
Oh,
it could be.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really agree.
But I also say, my wife has a white car, and my other Porsche was white. It does show dirt a lot less than a black or even a blue car or a silver car, and you don't realize it. Like even when I used to clean my Porsche, I would like wipe it, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's so dirty." But I never realized it because it kind of just blends in,
right? And chalk is a color.
Yes, and
option at least.
If you guys really look at white does show the curves and the lines of a car because of the angles produce the shadows, where a black car or any color car will not show the angles. So if you have a car, we'll say a Tesla, any kind of car that has a lot of angles like the ugly truck, it would probably show a lot more. Like if you look at them, I don't know, any of them, it does show all the angles. And I know my friend actually told me that. And he's like, hey, look at this. Like he has a lot of white cars too. And he's like, it shows all the angles. Of the car.
I think that a gray will do the same thing. And, since...
like a light gray?
Yeah, I'm not talking about a charcoal gray. I'm talking medium to light gray. Yeah.
Do you think that's why, or one of the reasons why the truck that we hate and shall not be named is always shown in a color that you don't get that reflection from because it is so angular and like masculine aggressive with the squareness or the square angles?
I think they want to show that off.
I don't know. I'm just asking a question because most of them tend to be that chrome or like, Yeah. Just a
Silver,
thought. I don't know.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that was the whole, in their mind, the appeal of that vehicle was it's just got the, it's unpainted. It's just like a DeLorean. It's got the
Right.
just the
Mhm.
panels, so.
Yeah.
But the second one was black, and that was only off by not
the
even
second,
1%,
second one's
isn't
almost
it?
tied.
Or
So
1%.
white was 26%, black is number 2 at 22%, which I
Mhm.
honestly, I find, because
Okay.
black is beautiful when it's clean.
Mm.
But
For 3 minutes.
So
like
that
Kevin and I,
means
Kevin
it's
and I,
never
we live in
beautiful.
Florida, man. There's pollen, there's everything else. I mean, it's clean for 37 seconds. So
Well,
it's
The thing is if you look at these colors or lack thereof, one, it's depressing. But the thing is that many cars are never optioned by the buyer.
Right.
So these are dealers, and black moves, white moves, and
But I don't think it used to be like that. Like back in the 80s,
purple,
everybody wanted
orange,
right.
green.
Mopar, baby.
Yellow.
That's how they made. Well, even this day, I mean, Dodge. If you look at the American car manufacturers, Dodge is really the only one that doesn't shy away from color.
And I would claim they're stupid colors, like the neon green. I see that. There's a gas station I go at, and there's a dealer right across the street, and they've got every model on the lot in that stupid green color. And I hate it. I think it's awful. I would never own one. But at least they are, at least it's something different.
Right.
I mean, remember the Dodge Neon, the Skittles? We used to call them Skittles because they had all the colors, So, and I also think Volkswagen did a pretty good job with that too. I mean, they even had the Harlequin,
different
panels,
panels,
all the different colors back in the 90s. Yeah, the panels and stuff like that. So they've, and naturally Porsche's had a lot of colors as well. But other than that, I do agree with you, James. It's just pretty much
It reminds me of Russia in the 80s, where they're just pining for our Levi jeans, and everything has a lack of color. Somehow we're now there. The fact that in order to get to another color, the real popular color at 10% is blue.
Yeah, I know, and
that's the first time you see color.
Wow.
Red
is red.
Red's right behind it at 8%.
Is red even on there?
Yeah.
8%
So
right behind
if you go white, black, gray, silver, might as well, take your depression drugs there.
Well, blue has had a major, I don't know, resurgence is the right word, but there's a lot of really popular blue cars out there. Everyone makes one. I mean, even like look how many Toyota Tacomas you see in that kind of like sky blue color, and my wife's Sonata's got a ton of blues, BMWs make a ton of blues.
Do you think that some of this comes from, I'm getting this, I won't claim to be the owner of this thought, but Doug DeMuro has a thing where the press color of the vehicle seems to be kind of the best quote unquote color, the most popular color. And he only buys the press color car colors. Do you think that has anything to do with it? That whatever color the manufacturer puts out is kind of like the standard or the car with their press? Do you think that has any
possible?
Do you remember?
I don't think so.
Mercedes, everything was silver, right? Silver arrows. Yeah. So
BMW too, as well. Yeah. Mid 2000s or the early 2000s.
Yeah, when you go to the dealership, I think it's the one in Germany where Oktoberfest is. I'm trying to Munich. They have the big, and every single car is silver. Like they have every model there in silver for Mercedes. Back to your point, Casey. I think also too a lot of cars. Like yes, I know I have the Shark Blue, and that was the press color for the GT3 when it came out with the 992. But also have a 4Runner
solid color,
right? TRD Pro, and it's like a metallic. I think it's called lime rock green. Yeah, it's like a solid neon green kind of. That was, and before that it was blue, but that was the special color for the TRD. Last year before that it was the same kind of shark bluish. I don't know what the blue is. This year it was orange, I think, for 2000. So, and the same thing that, remember a couple of years ago, everybody was doing the whole tan.
Oh, gosh.
And light green beige colors. Yeah, I do agree with though. Fleet has, I think, a lot to do with the those numbers though, because I mean, even my wife's car it's gray, and I'm surprised gray is not
I
actually
think
higher than
Right.
other than city vehicles
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
they want them white because they're wrapping them,
So
well,
to,
and I
for
to your,
police
go,
and
ahead- go
stuff
ahead,
like
Casey.
that. So
I was just going to say, I think part of it as well is that no one is offended by those top 4 colors. So if a dealer's building a car to sit out on the lot, nobody says no to those colors. Like you're
Mhm.
not offended. Whereas an orange or, a purple, gold, that's more
Yeah.
easily,
Well,
somebody would shy away from that.
I think a lot of, if you think about customizing your vehicle, right? So say you want to change your rims or you want to do brake calipers or pinstripes, etc. It's just a lot easier to do it on the white or a black
But what
car.
percentage of those of cars are done like that? I mean, we
Well,
do
how
that,
many?
but
But think about it. If you go to a dealer, how many of those pickup trucks are being modified by the dealer?
okay.
They're
Yeah.
raising
Fair.
them, putting
Yeah.
on big rims and wheels and all kinds of. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, because the
Absolutely.
markup is huge. I mean, my friend, he has a dealership here, and he makes, I think, a
Sure.
lot of his money
Yeah,
on
that's
Yeah,
fair.
I
wheels
get
and
that.
tire packages.
To James's
Mhm.
point,
'Cause they
so
get
in
to finance it.
2012, I special ordered I was the second Scion FRS that got sold in the Orlando dealership that I bought it from, and I initially ordered it in a color they called hot lava, which was orange, because I like colors.
Mhm.
And literally 3 weeks before it was to arrive, for James's exact same point that he made, I switched it to what they call asphalt gray, because I knew I was going to modify the car. I knew I was going to do rims and everything else, and I just felt I was going to be stuck with orange and limited to what I could do versus a gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the reason
Agreed.
I wrapped the 911 when I got it, is because the Atlas gray that my 911 is now is almost identical to the shade that the asphalt gray was on my old car, and I had it for 8 years. So I wanted to do something different.
Mhm.
So I wrapped it. So.
I did the same thing. My Macan is metallic blue, right? Sapphire blue metallic.
Mhm.
And if you pull up any dealership right now or go to the Porsche new and used, literally you have to scroll like 3 pages before you come across a color. Every single Macan is black, gray, silver.
Yeah.
And if you want something unique, you really have to dig for it.
Mhm.
Just to get some color. Living in the South, a black on black car, man, you're
It's
getting
everywhere.
fried.
Yeah.
Yeah, no joke.
But you're getting fried. And, I don't really want to open up my car and step into it and it's 105 degrees,
Mhm.
So I went with a different color just to mitigate some of that. But part of it was I was tired of seeing the sameness. Sometimes I'll be driving and I'll look around in my rear view, side view, and everything, and I will be surrounded by monochromatic cars.
Mhm.
It's depressing.
Well, case in point, I posted up on my actually I posted up on our Whiskey Watches and Wheels Instagram the same weekend that I saw Kevin down at Porsches on Central. Stacy and I went to Animal Kingdom after that on the way back, and I'm parked in the parking lot. Of course, I'm in the 911, and I was surrounded by a sea of just monochromatic SUVs. And so when we walked out to the car, it was like literally a light bulb in a dark room. So I snapped a quick pic
Mhm.
because it was, so it's depressing.
Hey, the good
You
thing
always
is
know where
you
you're
always
at.
know where you're
Yeah, no
parked
joke.
at.
Yeah,
You
you
can't
can't
lose a
lose
car
a
that way.
There's a few pictures that float around the internet. I'm trying to send you one so you can put it up, Matt,
Mhm.
of like a 1970s interstate picture and all the colors of the vehicles that are on the road versus
Yeah.
what we see today.
Oh yeah, let me see. If I can
Of
put this up real
very
quick.
monochromatic, as we've been saying. I do think it's interesting. I do wonder truly what has been kind of the push behind that, or if there is, or if it is more like you all are saying, fleet vehicles that are controlling it. I have no idea.
Well, is it just cheaper to paint
Maybe
white,
yeah.
black, silver, gray? Is it cheaper?
I don't know.
Maybe that's what we're getting.
Possibility,
So,
I guess.
Well, they do say that a white car weighs less because of the pigment. Like if you really, how much. So I actually, now that you do say that, somebody did say the amount of cost it takes. I was talking to somebody at Toyota, and they said that white costs less and takes less volume.
So
There's
here's a picture
something
that Casey
about
showed.
that color because there's less pigment, and it's only you're talking how many pounds they save by using white. I'm trying to think what company actually said that.
That's interesting.
Who uses white a
Well,
lot?
if you had a choice, right? If you had a
Pigment
choice,
juice.
what color are you going to pick, Kevin?
Because
White.
he's wrapping it. Yeah.
Honestly,
No.
yeah. I mean, hey, I like the color I have now.
But I'm wrapping it white.
You and 26% of everyone else.
That's right.
There you go.
Okay.
No, I do like my favorite color. Honestly, my favorite color is either going to be mint green or ruby
Ruby stone. Yeah.
redstone, ruby redstone. I love that pink. I love that color. Actually, that's what made me buy this car because I was actually looking at that color. I do like vibrant colors.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I have that green color. I've had. Yeah, I mean, I do like a lot of. I've had a lot of colorful cars.
I think for me, it depends
before,
on the car. I think it changes per vehicle. My Cayenne, the 957, is the olive green metallic, and I think it fits it very well.
That's sharp.
I had a classic 911, an air cooled. I think some of the browns are super cool, burnt orange kind of color. The like, I don't know another color name for it.
Is
Other
that
than
more like a copper, Casey? You like that?
I would do
kind of
that.
Copper,
I would do that.
The
Right, the copper
BMW
look.
copper color.
Yeah, British Racing Green, I think, is really pretty.
Well, that's the thing. Those dark greens are, I mean, I think those dark greens are beautiful on just about anything. You know, they work well with sports cars. They, everything from an Aston Martin to a 911 to an SUV, I think looks great in a dark green.
Yeah.
And yet it's sad when you see green is literally 1% of the color sold,
Yeah.
So
Well, green's considered bad
listen,
luck
man,
by
my
who?
last name,
By who?
listen,
Did you
my
guys
last
know that?
name is Green, so I don't care.
I think green is bad luck in motorcycles. Excuse me. Let me take a shot here. And I think it has something to do with like the army colors or something like that. But on a motorcycle, it was considered. I'm trying to look it up. Why? Yeah. So it's on motorcycles. I don't know. I also love that. What's that purple amethyst color? That what's his name? The guy from Nike. That his color on his 930 or something. That like deep purple color. I think it's an awesome color too. James,
I just rather listen to you stumble and try to make up some color name. So plum. It's plum. No,
is it plum?
And
Dodge has a color called plum crazy purple.
Yes.
Plum
Matt,
crazy.
how about you though?
What
color?
If I was going to pick a color?
Yeah.
My favorite. So it would either be my next car is either going to be a dark green or orange. I'm not. I don't think I made the wrong choice when I special ordered. That FRS in the beginning. I ordered orange because it's always been my favorite color. And so I think I still made the right choice by switching to gray. Although in the back of my mind, I'd always wished I would have kept the orange. So sports car wise, it'll probably be an orange. But I love dark greens. If I end up wrapping my car again, the next iteration will probably be a shade of green.
Nice.
Viola.
There you go.
Metallic. That's the
Awesome.
name of the color.
And
Nice.
just as a
I think
reference,
I dated her in high school.
here's a 2016 article on Jalopnik about why the color green is bad luck in racing. So I don't know. Either way,
That's why British Racing Green. So they're not winning a lot.
Yeah. Either way, I think it's a good looking color on the cars. So anyhow,
I like color obviously as a designer, so I try to shy away from some of those darker neutral colors that are in the lead here. Although
that you always wear
991, my 991 is gray, but
interesting.
I do like the blues, Porsche blues. There's always something really interesting about the Porsche blues. So, but I'm with you, Matt. I like orange. I like the greens, and I like the blues.
Yeah.
We got to branch
Cool.
out.
Cool.
So yeah, so that was the colors. I mean, just to go over real quick for the rest of the audience listening, brown was 0.8%, orange was 0.6%, beige was 0.4%, purple was 0.2%, gold was 0.2%, and yellow was 0.1%, which I was really surprised at. I thought yellow would be higher than maybe a purple or a gold, but
I hate yellow cars.
well, I'm not. Don't get me
them.
wrong. I'm not a fan of yellow. I wouldn't buy a yellow car, but you see a lot of them. I see more personally. I see more yellow cars on the road than I do purple or gold.
Matter of fact,
So-
here's
Back
a
in
story.
the day,
No, hold on.
go ahead.
During COVID, when all the prices of cars were falling through the floor, I was looking at Ferrari 360s. Right, they just dropped through the floor. There were several yellow ones that came up for sale, and I specifically, although I didn't buy any of them, but specifically did not even consider yellow. That's how much I hate it. And
It
Yeah.
fades
It
too
does.
in the sun. Like the
Comes to me,
yellow, it fades in the sun. I don't know what it is about the color. Yeah, I had a yellow Phoenix Yellow Type R in 2001, and that's the only yellow I think I would, because that was like the color. You got that, or I think it was in black in 2001.
I remember way back when you could buy cars in color, but they would say that yellow cars rusted faster. Now, I don't know if that's true today based on the paints and the metal that we're dealing with, but back in the day, the yellow, I guess anything like a lighter color would be more
it's interesting.
susceptible to rust. So
The only car I would ever buy in a yellow would be a Pontiac Aztec.
and in beige would be a minivan, beige minivan.
And then you'd have to suicide yourself.
Exactly.
Terrible.
No, all kidding aside, though. So I believe the first gen Viper, the RT10, came in yellow. And I if I was going to do something like a death trap like that thing, then I would buy yellow. That way, when I killed myself, they could easily find me. So,
Which this is a good segue, because we're talking about purples, oranges, yellows. I'm trying to think of other colors and what cars. We got a list of cars that are discontinuing, and the one or two cars that usually use those colors, orange and stuff, is the Challenger from the. I think they brought that to James Point to kind of give the nostalgic of the 70s, and the Charger.
Challenger and Charger,
and especially the purple. I mean, the only purple car that I know of is that the Charger,
plum crazy purple Challenger,
the Challenger, right? Yep, yeah. So that's the only one I know of, other than like a Porsche color that's a PTS color. But all those other, the orange I think was in that green, that lime green. I've seen the lime green one as well.
Yeah,
those cars are gone.
2024.
So. And
they killed the Chrysler 300, the Challenger, and the Charger. Which, listen,
I'm so sad.
Well, here's the thing: they have talking about a company getting their dollars worth. I mean, those platforms was from when literally Dodge was part of Mercedes Benz. I mean, those are old platforms. They've been around for 20 plus years. On the same platform.
The Chrysler 300. Have you seen a Chrysler 300 that had all the same color panels on it?
I don't go to that part of the neighborhood.
They're just shit. They're just shit. They just fell apart. I
think Kevin just fell off his chair.
Yes. Well, the paint wasn't good. The paint was not good. They're terrible. Yeah,
I rented one before. They're pretty comfortable. And they had that clock.
They did.
They had the chrono clock.
Exactly.
The chrono package.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, and it was actually trying to think what there was a brand. I was like, what? I think it was ICW, IWC clock or something. I could be wrong. IWC. Yeah. So what other cars?
All right. So
what other cars?
So going in alphabetical order, and listen, some of these I'm sad about, and some I could care less. But
I'm sad about the Audis. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the Audi R8 and the Audi TT are both gone, man. And that's the Audi TT. I remember when that thing first came out, had the really cool baseball stitching in it and everything. Because that was back when I had my when I had my listen, that's not just a chick car. I mean, they say the Boxster's a chick car, but it's not.
Hey,
Right.
it was a chick car, not anymore. Now, like
It's
I
no
see,
one's car now.
I think because it's a different motor and stuff.
But what else is
That's
Audi
true.
going to sell? Like,
The
what,
A-
I mean,
A4.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
going to
all
eat-
you
they're
have
going
to
to
do
That's
is
right.
is dig a little deeper, and the majority of these cars that we're going to cover tonight, they're coming back as electrics,
Sure, they'll all be.
Well,
except for the electric ones
the-
that got killed.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, back to Chrysler. They said they're getting rid of the Challenger and the Charger
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they want to focus more on electric
Mistake.
cars.
So you got the
So what
Audi
other
R8,
cars, Matt?
Audi TT is gone. The Chevy Bolt, which was actually already an EV, but it's gone.
who wants that
okay.
scrote?
The Camaro.
Yeah, but
Camaro's
what's
gone
interesting
again.
is that the Bolt, Camaro.
Yeah.
Camaro is in
we'll
there.
see you in
Chevy
10.
Chevy Camaro's gone again.
Okay.
So it's gone. Well,
They'll bring
and they
it back.
will.
I think
They'll
they're
be
gonna
As an
either a
SUV.
hybrid or right along with the
Like the
Mach-E.
Mustang Mach, yeah.
Like the Mustang.
What a joke! I mean, listen, not to get on a soapbox, but
Okay.
man, listen, I'm okay with the Mach-E for what it is, but it's not a freaking Mustang. And everyone that I know that owns one that refers to it as a Mustang, I just ignore them. It's
Well, I
not
think-
a Mustang.
Well, how about wasn't a Santa Fe a car?
Well,
That was a
Santa
car,
Fe's
wasn't it?
still a car.
Santa Fe? I don't-
Well,
James,
Hyundai
do you
makes
remember
this.
the Santa Fe? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Maverick was a
I'm
car.
sorry, the Maverick.
Yeah.
Ford
Wasn't
Maverick.
that a,
Truck,
like a box?
yeah.
Oh,
And now
they
it's a
had so
truck.
many more names that were better. They could have
Okay,
called it
so-
the Galaxy. I mean, there's so many more
Yeah.
names that were more
Do you
that
think-
forfeiting.
Mhm.
Do you think Ford is trying to do what Chevy is doing with the Corvette, is make it its own brand?
I think so. I think the whole idea when they decided to go the EV route was to try to get some name recognition, to generate some additional sales, and it is strictly marketing. That's all it was marketing. And look, my uncle owns one, and it's a fine vehicle. There's nothing wrong with it. It's an appliance. It does what it needs to do. It gets good range. It's great for what it is. But there's no Mustang DNA in it, other than they made taillights
No.
look like a Mustang's
taillights,
taillights.
yeah.
And it's
That's
got
well,
the
that's about
horse
it.
on the front.
Right.
I'm ready for the electric Dodge
Okay, what
Challenger
up?
to show up at Cars and Coffee. And
With the speakers, that's going to make it
with some-
sound like
yeah,
a
with some-
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's strapped to the roof.
Oh, for sure. So what other?
All
What's,
right, so you got
what's the other
Camaro's
cars?
gone. Then you got, so I was surprised at this, all Hellcat offerings. So the Hellcat engine's gone. So everything was in, whether it be the Hellcat Durango, the Jeep, Trailhawk, everything that had a Hellcat engine is gone.
There's your
So,
0
let
to
me ask-
60 gang.
Mhm.
Right?
Have you all,
Casey?
track guys, have you all ever seen a Hellcat on the track?
I have, yeah.
You have?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
nev-
There's
I've
a
never
track.
come across
There's a
one
track
on the
right
track.
down the street from me. Literally, I have a track that's less than a mile
Yeah,
from me. Yeah,
But is
yeah,
this
and
a
so-
drag
Speedway.
strip or an actual
no
track?
drag strip?
Okay, I'm
Track
sorry.
strip.
I mean a
Okay.
road course.
No, it's a drag
Oh,
strip.
okay.
Yeah.
No. Road course,
Quarter
no.
mile.
I'm talking quarter mile.
Yeah,
'Cause that's really all they're good for is quarter mile.
right, because they were
Well, when they get rid of the Challenger and the Charger, I mean, most people was the Super
Yeah,
Trailhawk
yeah.
was that had that motor in there, right? The Trailhawk. So, and that car,
Wait,
I mean, my
isn't
friend has
that
one
called?
of those.
Isn't that the
quick.
track?
So when you get rid of those two
Trackhawk.
vehicles,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Trackhawk.
Trackhawk, yeah,
no,
yeah.
track. Okay, and then
So
what else is getting? I'm just
so,
trying
yeah,
to
so
move
all
that
Hellcats,
because there's a big list.
Then the Jeep Cherokee, not the Grand Cherokee, but the Cherokee's gone. Then you have the Ferrari F8 Tributo. Oh yeah,
Wait,
Renegade
yes,
as well.
what about the
gone.
Renegade?
Jeep Cherokee and Renegade. All right.
both pieces
Um,
of shit.
Ferrari F8 Tributo, the Ferrari Portofino M. Although I will say the Portofino M is being replaced with the Roma Spider, so it's a wash.
And the F8's being replaced by the 296 GTB,
Correct.
which is fucking hot.
Yes.
That car. whew,
So
they
Ferrari's
did a
killing too,
great
but they're
job on
introducing
that.
two. So
Yeah.
So and then the Ford Edge is being killed off. I was another fleet car,
Another
fleet car,
fleet-
but
another
then
fleet
I was
car.
really surprised after our conversation last week, and we were talking about the future EVs versus hybrid and all that. Ford is killing the Explorer hybrid, which I was kind of surprised about.
Didn't know it existed.
I've never even seen one on the road.
Yeah, so they're also killing the Fiesta, which of course the Fiesta ST was really the only Fiesta I ever cared for, and that was gone several years ago. So
Yeah.
And then they're also killing the Transit
Okay.
Connect, which is one of their small vans. This one I'm sad about. The Kia Stinger is gone. And
I
the
was
Kia
just
Stinger was a
gonna-
great car.
I was just going to say that when you brought it up.
Yeah.
I think that's a well designed,
Good looking.
yeah, good
Well
looking.
designed, good looking.
Yeah.
It is,
No.
but nobody wanted to pay the money
No.
for
I
that
think
for a Kia.
I agree with that. I only know one person that owns one, and they're an older couple down in Florida, so it's kind of a weird car for them to own anyway.
Kevin
But
doesn't have one.
but I think that car looks good. It was quick. I haven't read much on the internet about it having problems like long term. I think that owning a Kia and a Hyundai today is different than it was in the year 2000. And I think you should expect it to be a car that would last you a long time, 100,000 miles plus. I wouldn't, scoff at somebody
Well,
buying
don't
that.
they have a great warranty as well?
Yeah, 10 year,
Isn't it?
100,000
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
listen, we talked about this before. I own 3 Hyundais. I mean, my wife has a
Oh, that's
Sonata,
right.
my son has an Elantra, and my daughter has an Accent, and I bought 3 Hyundais because I don't have time to dick around with them, so I don't have to worry about them breaking. So
Yeah.
Only thing I don't like about Kia is like the Kia or Hyundai, whatever the Genesis is. It looks like a Cayenne or
the
Cayenne,
GV70.
and then they had that one car that looked like a Maserati, and then they have another car, the Telluride,
Yeah.
looks
But it
like
did-
the Range Rover.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
spitting images,
That was their
imagine.
MO for a very long time. You could literally look at the back and say that's a Mercedes. You can look at the side panels. Oh, that's a
Right.
BMW. Look at the front. It's a Mercedes again. All they did was
Right.
take the design cues that were on these very
But don't you
nice
think
cars
that's worked?
and adopted those. Well, it has because everything's generic now.
I
Everything
don't-
looks the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
With the
It
Stinger,
was
though, that's
different.
what was
You're
great about it.
absolutely
It
right.
didn't look
and,
like.
and I will say this,
Right.
you will still
just
be
like
able
the
to get
Cybertruck.
you can still get a Stinger. It's not going to be a Kia Stinger, but the Kia Stinger and the Genesis, which is Hyundai's luxury line, G70, is the same car minus 10 inches. I mean, it's like 10 inches shorter, but it's the same wheelbase, same motor.
Who can miss?
same-
Who can
I'm not
miss 10
touching that.
inches?
What's that? Oh, I can't miss 2 inches, but so. All right,
right,
so
so
Kia
what's
Rio,
next?
which
What's
no
the
one
other
cares about
cars?
that small SUV. I didn't even know this even existed. A Lincoln Aviator Grand Touring, whatever that was. I mean, I know their Aviator
I
was an
think my
SUV,
friend
but
has that car.
yeah. So
He's got the Aviator at the
beige.
very least. It is white, but I think it's a V6 twin turbo.
okay.
Am I correct on that? I think I'm correct.
Well-
Very, very nice inside. But he's had a shitload of problems with it.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean, at
lived
the
at
end of the
the
day,
dealer.
it's a Ford. I mean, the Aviator used to be the Explorer, so I think it was the Explorer, wasn't it? I may be wrong with that, but I think it was.
Navigator?
So it should be very similar to an Explorer, which they're killing. I mean, I don't know what I'm assuming the Grand Touring was maybe a model or trim level, but so the Mazda CX-9 is gone and the Mazda MX-30 is gone, which the MX-30 was their small SUV based
I've
on.
never seen one.
Never seen it.
seen
No,
it.
it's based on their 3 Series, but it's a small SUV. I've seen a couple around here, and then the CX-9 I think was an SUV as well. It may have been a car.
Was that a large SUV, I believe?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah. So
Never seen one in real life.
the
Yeah, it's a
McLaren
3-row
7
SUV,
Okay.
by the way. So it
McLaren
was one of their large ones.
720S is gone, but it's being replaced with the 750S. So it's going away and getting bigger. So this is something that's near and dear to Kevin's heart. Mercedes C-Class Cabriolet, Mercedes C-Class Coupe, Mercedes all C-Class, the
All
Mercedes
C-Class.
CLS, the Mercedes E-Class Cabriolet, and the E-Class. So basically, all C-Class, the CLS, and all E-Class are all gone.
Which sucks because the
Yeah.
C63 fast, the E63 there goes the station wagon that was fast. The E63, that whole motor. I have heard Mercedes is doing away with the
Completely.
E63 motor.
Yeah.
Period. One of the guys completely, and that's the fast motor they're going again. Hybrid EV, like, and it sounds so good when you take off like all the exhaust and stuff. It's a great car, and I'm wondering if they're going to take away that with the G-Wagon, because that's
right.
a
That's right.
63
Mhm.
motor as well. And it's also the GT car is a 63. So, but they didn't bring that up. So they're probably still going to keep the motor, but I've heard they're not going to keep the motor. So who knows? And that G-Wagon's been, I mean, I don't know what housewives are.
They're all going to buy my favorite, the GLA AMG 45. I love that car.
Or the Kia.
Listen,
I like that
if
car
you're
too,
looking for a hot hatch in 2023, you're not going to find it, so you buy the GLA. Okay. The touted 4-door sports car from overseas is gone. The Nissan Maxima has been killed.
Oh,
Again. Yeah, so Nissan
but
Maxima is gone.
It'll be back
listen,
somehow.
No. Yeah, it'll come back somewhere.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, I agree.
Don't count it out.
The
It'll be
current
electric.
iteration. Yeah, but the current iteration of the Maxima is not the Maxima that we love, you know, we from the 90s.
No.
It's not. When it
And
came
then
back, it was a nameplate.
when I
but it
was in
not.
high school, I lusted after a Maxima. That
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
a sweet vehicle. And this one, I don't know if I've seen a dozen on the road.
Oh,
No.
we're so
it's-
happy
and
that you
they-
grew up, Casey.
Nissan's going through a really, when I was in Dallas last week, I had a Nissan Versa as my rental car. Nissan's got a really funky kind of design thing going on right now. I'm not a fan of it. It
It's
does
a
really
two-tone
weird
too, no?
shit. It's a two-tone, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
like you still
they
run the
went
bottom,
all
black
in
at
on the-
top.
Yeah, they went all in on a two-tone. They went
And
with the mullet car, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, party in the back front, business or party in the what was it? Yeah, something like that. So
George
but
Bush
you
over
know,
here.
The interior was nicer than I remember Nissan's being. And listen, I used to own a Nissan Maxima, or Stacy did. So I mean, not an Altima. So, it was nicer than I
they've
thought. It
lost
was
their
gonna
way.
be. They have lost their way.
I think Nissan has lost their way. Hopefully they get their mojo back.
The other thing about Nissan is a lot of them have that CVT transmission, which is complete dog shit. I've only rented vehicles with that in it, but
Yeah.
it is awful to drive. It is terrible.
And you know what though, with Nissan though, Nissan I believe has focused a lot of their money, a lot of their sales on fleet vehicles. My wife's fleet vehicle is a Nissan Altima.
Well,
There's no more Ford Taurus anymore. There's no more 300s. That used to be a fleet vehicle, the 300. Now it's all Nissan. And I agree with you, Casey. The push button sucks. The transmission, yeah. It's
when we
it's
get
a
to-
terrible car.
when we
but
get to 100
it's cheap.
episodes, that 100th episode will be everything that Casey calls dog shit.
That's gonna
Listen, there's a lot of dog shit
Well,
that's gonna be a
around my
3-hour episode right there.
household.
Yeah. All right. So there's
what, other
the
than
last
that,
one on
what's
my
the next
list,
ones?
and this one really pains my heart. The
Yeah.
Porsche
Oh.
Panamera Sport Turismo, which
Yeah.
you've
RIP.
never seen one.
Never
Oh,
seen one.
man,
I
they're-
have. I've
They're
seen.
gorgeous.
Oh, and what makes
They're
me sad
gorgeous.
is not that it's a Porsche, but it is so sharp
Yeah.
as far as a Panamera goes.
Mhm.
That's the one to get, and that's the
Correct.
one they're killing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's
It's a shame.
and it's as I said, I'm a wagon guy. I would much rather have a wagon over an SUV any day of the week. The
Mhm.
problem is, and I can't fault the manufacturers for this, nobody freaking buys them. Including myself, and
Nope.
and nobody buys them. And the Panamera is not a bad looking vehicle in my opinion, but the way the back end kind of swoops down or whatever, I'm not a massive fan of.
Well, this
is what
fixes it.
is. But
Right?
right,
This
so this takes
Wagon
it, stretches
fixes
it out,
that design
makes it a
flaw.
wagon.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's gorgeous.
You know what they're
Electric.
replacing
Yeah,
it with,
of
right?
course.
The EV. Because
Right.
they unveiled it 2 years ago at
Taycan.
The
at,
Taycan,
right?
Yeah, the Taycan. Sport
Amelia.
Turismo.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Taycan.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
Taycan.
so they have the
Yeah,
sports
we'll
turismo
see.
version of the Taycan. So,
Yeah,
but
we'll
it'll be
see.
interesting to see if they continue to make it. Because
Yeah.
again, to your point, you said you've never seen one. I've seen them, but only like twice on the road. Compared to I see Taycans all the time. I see Panameras all the time.
So what car? We know that the manufacturer is getting rid of a car. I have a question for you guys. What car would you think should be on that list?
Ooh.
That wasn't on the list. That should be on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Any EV.
Tell us how you feel, Casey. It's dog,
Dog
shit.
shit.
Is it
They're
dog
all
shit?
dog shit.
The Cybertruck.
I wish that Tesla would come out
Yeah,
with a
let's say
different style.
the
'cause
Model
it looks all
3.
the same to
I
me,
mean,
personally.
there's 50
pretty
million of
fugly.
those things. It's
Yeah, they're
ugly.
fugly.
It's been around since its
Just change it
inception,
up.
right? That's like
Yeah.
the first model. And
I get
it's
the feeling
boring
I
as
get
fuck.
out of that is I've just given up and I just want to save some money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like Elon Musk read one of his podcasts. It's not designing the car. It's not coming out with. It's not the financing. It's the manufacturing of the car. It's the hardest part of making a car. And I think he's just, he wants to make money and he doesn't want to change the car because he's already had all the tooling and everything. So for him, it's just easy for software
It's true.
plugins.
And let's be
different
honest,
batteries
most of the
and,
people
point.
buying those cars don't care about the looks anyway, right? They're not car people.
they're not car people.
Exactly. And
That's
so
a
Well,
function.
to that point,
you
I
could
mean,
do a
if you're
20-year run
Yeah.
on that thing and it wouldn't
Yeah.
fucking matter.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
to your point, if you're buying an appliance, all right, there's a lot of people that love iPhone and love, because of the fact that, literally every time they come out with a software update overnight, you might get a new, UI or whatever. And so to them, it's a brand new phone. And the Tesla people feel the same way. So if
Yeah.
you're looking for an appliance
so
to take you from point A to point B, it's
Yeah.
a great, it's good for what it does. So
It's also pretty funny. 4 guys with 911s mocking the sameness of the
Yeah, I know.
Tesla design language.
I know.
But is there something different in
That's
a
a good
Model
point.
3 from 10 years ago from today's Model 3?
no,
At least
no,
in a
but
911, there are design cues that have changed. Well, absolutely.
Are there?
You can tell a 991 from a 997.
Oh, sure.
yeah.
I thought you talk about
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Tesla.
on a Porsche.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
what
I'm
I'm saying.
asking.
On
I
a
don't
Model
know
Model
the
3 is
answer.
Yeah.
newer, but the Model S, which was the sedan we were talking about last week, which has everything from the P90 all the way up to the Plaid, they're pretty much exactly the same they have been
That did
since
change.
the beginning. The back changed a little
Except for
bit,
the
and they
back.
changed the initially when they first came out, they had something to make it almost simulate like it had a front grill, radiator, whatever. They've gone away from that in the styling, but so they had a couple small refreshes, but for the most part, it's the same running gear since that's always been.
Yeah.
So
Ugly.
Well, we're talking about cars that we like to see go away. I tell you what, I'd like to see every pickup truck go away. They just get larger and larger and larger, and it turns into an arms race
Never gonna happen.
with these SUVs trying to match the size.
I
Well-
do find it really annoying to have to park next to one, like in a parking garage, because they really hug the line.
Yeah.
And then you park it next to some other stupid, car. But I mean,
For all the Americans that listen to the
a
podcast, I'm
Ford
against
F-150
those,
Raptor, I think that's an awesome truck, and I would love to own one.
Yeah,
But
they're cool. Very
it's
cool.
massive. It's massive.
So
Mhm.
coming from the guy who drives a Dodge Ram every day, listen, I'm fortunate enough that my day job, we have fleet vehicles and we get our choice of fleet vehicle from Dodge.
And they're white.
And no, mine's burgundy. So you pick your color. And so we have our choice.
That color
between,
didn't make the list, Matt.
No. So we have a choice between, we can pick basically a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a Dodge Durango, or a Ram. I always take the Ram. This is my second time having a Ram. And it's a great truck, but everything, they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So this will probably, the next time around, I'll probably go Grand Cherokee or whatever.
So, James, have you ever owned a truck?
Chevy S10, mid-size truck, did everything I needed it to do when you're renovating a house. I could get my 4x8 sheet of plywood in there.
But you said, so you wouldn't want to have any trucks, though. Would you keep a mid-size
Keep
truck?
a mid-size truck.
Like you said, hey, all trucks should be gone. So
Look,
would
it's
you
not-
have at least because the truck does have a
We're
function.
just goofing around, right?
Yeah, of course.
But
I know we're just bullshitting.
that's never going to happen.
No.
So
I know
I'm
that.
a-
It's just
number
one of
one
those.
selling vehicle on the
Really,
planet.
what I'm just trying to say is that they become monstrous,
They are.
and 90% are not used for their intended purpose.
Yeah.
Right. They're grocery getters. When
Or
was
like,
I
I
don't
agree
even
with-
see. Literally 90% of the pickup trucks that I see on the road have nothing in the back. They're
Mhm.
hauling nothing but air.
And here in Florida, we have a lot of people that have F-250s with lift kits and what I forgot what my daughter
Mhm.
calls them, mall crawlers or whatever. These 20-something inch wheels, American force wheels, and big suspension. Never even seen any dirt. I would agree with you, James. Those need to go away. You're not pulling anything.
I think-
Neon
I
lights.
think
They're
we should-
dad
Show 'em
grocery
age.
getters. That's what they are.
LED
They're
lights.
dad
I
grocery
think
getters.
I think we should
Yeah,
normalize
yeah.
utility trailers, and you could do away with a pickup truck or downsize them a little bit and utilize a small trailer, which is what I
Sure, yeah.
do with the Cayennes. Right, you're not putting a
Yeah.
lot in the back of those, but I've got a nice 8x12 or whatever the stupid utility trailer is that can haul anything. Right.
Yeah, because there's no pickup trucks there is now with the Maverick and with the Ranger, but in Europe,
Right.
that's an American thing. Like the guy that works for me, he came to America and he got a F-150 because that is an American car. And I remember when I was over there in 2018, I saw the Ford Ranger, but it was like kind of hopped up, and I was like, "Oh, we don't even have those."
And he ate
Everything over there is
hot
vans.
dogs and apple
Vans,
pie for
vans,
the first
vans.
2 months he was here, right?
I love it. Well, again, so many of the F-250s and everything is sold because of the tax breaks. There's a massive tax incentive
That's
if
true.
you are over a certain GVW. There.
Yeah.
It's 6,000 pounds.
Right.
My Toyota 4Runner is 6,000 pounds. I did the same thing. My van is 6,000 pounds. So there's a lot of cars that I would say yes for a fleet, but almost like to James' point, all of these big trucks now they're all
they're
almost
huge. Yeah.
6,000 pound gross vehicle. So I don't know.
I know.
Well, we touched on it last week. You have these trucks, which are massive as they are, but then all of a sudden you want to go EV with them, and then you double the size of that battery as far as the weight goes. How are you stopping these things? You're not.
And when's the Hummer coming out?
No
it's
one
already
cares.
out. The
truck,
EV
not the-
Hummer? Yeah, it's already out.
Yeah, they can't sell them.
Is
They
it? Okay.
cannot sell them.
No.
They are
I've seen
sitting
two on
there
the
Are they
roads.
for
I've seen
years.
two on the roads,
expensive?
but
Yes, but they're also, I don't know,
100
but they're
grand.
like
How much are they?
11,000
100 grand.
pounds.
Yeah.
They're,
I
but yeah,
just
they're,
did
they're
it.
already out.
I just
I've
did a
seen it.
quick Google search. 2024 GMC Hummer 107 grand. A
Yeah,
2023 Hummer 116.
do you have a weight? Do you have a weight on that,
You
Casey?
can buy them.
I don't.
Gross
but
weight?
No.
So next episode, we'll
There you
do
go.
a review on the Hummer.
I'm not touching
10,000
We're
10,500.
That's our closing
10,000
note.
So there you go. 11,000 pounds. So it's right there. 10,500 pounds. You
11,000.
said.
So I was
Yeah,
right.
11,000 pounds.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of
Insane.
that is
A lot of
monstrous and insane. That's insane.
Batteries are heavy. Batteries are heavy.
That's a semi truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
But
All right, guys. Well, that's
Wow.
going to call our episode for the
All right.
evening. For those listening, thank you so very much. Follow us on all of our places. www.whiskeywatchesawheel.com. No www. Follow us on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. Download the podcast if you want to listen in the car on all your major platforms. Again, reach out to us. Contact at Whiskey Watches Wheels if you see anything that you think we can do better on, or you have any suggestions. We are always open to suggestions. We want to grow and get better. So, guys, I appreciate you hanging out, and we'll catch you next week.
Good times.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, guys. Happy Merry
Cheers.
Christmas, everybody.